As you know, our topic is about functions and modules. So we are going to create a new applet, and it would be Python, and the name for this applet is functions. Okay. Now let me tell you, there are uh, two type of functions in almost every programming languages, and these two types are, first one is built-in functions, and the other type is user defined functions. So the first function, built-in functions are, we have been using just like print function and input function and you know, int function and so on. These functions are available in libraries. We sometimes we have to include or import some library, and sometimes we don't need to import any library, and we can use these functions straight away. But these functions are user defined functions. We explicitly have to define this function. We have to define the purpose of the function. Then we have to code little, and we can call this function later on. Just like in Python, we have to use a keyword def for definition. We have to use def to define a function. If I am talking about the general structure of function, then we have to use def keyword, then name uh, of function, or you can say identifier of function. Then we have to provide here list of parameters if there are some parameters required. uh, then we have to put some colon here. Then then we have to define different instructions, uh, the instructions which will be performed in this specific function, and these instructions could be from single line of instruction to many line of instructions. So we are going to define a function. For example, I am going to define very simple function, which is welcome. So it is the name of the function, and what I am saying, I am okay. First of all, I think I have to define very simple function. Then we can discuss about the parameters and return type. So it is just printing you are welcome. So you can see it is very simplest function. There is a def keyword for, uh, we use this keyword for defining all type of functions. Then there is a name of function, then pair of parentheses. In this pair of parentheses we can write different parameters, but as per our requirement. Then these are the instructions which is associated with this function. So I can call this function straight away just by writing the name of the function. For example, I'm writing here welcome, and it is very simple. you know if I am running this code, so you can see it is showing the statement. and I can call this function as many time as per my requirement. And let me tell you, because it is very simple function, so you can see it is just printing sentences, a simple sentence, but functions could be some complex type. For example, let me define some complex, or you can say some more advanced function as compared to this one. So I am defining a function. For example, it is addition function, and this function will take some parameters. For example, it is taking some values a and b and c. Then there should be a colon. Then I can return some value. For example, I am returning a plus b plus c. And I think there is an error return. So whenever I am calling this function, this addition function, I have to put some arguments. I have to provide three values, a b and c. And these three values should be of integer type or some numeric type. For example, you can see I am calling this function uh, addition, and I have to provide some values. It is 10, then 20, then 30. Now what this function will do, this function will return some value, and I can receive this value in some other variable. For example, I am saying result. Then I can print this result explicitly. For example, I am saying the sum or the addition of three numbers is, and then I can print here result. But before writing name of the variable, I have to put comma here. So if I am when I am running this code, you can see the addition of three numbers is 60, because I am giving arguments 30, 20, and 10. So this function is adding all of these values. First of all, these values will be assigned to this a, b, and c respectively. Then a plus b plus c, 10 plus 20 plus 30, whatever the result is, it will return here. And uh, this this result will be added, will be stored, assigned in this variable. Then I can print this variable. Otherwise, what can I do? I can directly call this function in print statement, in print function. For example, I am saying uh, one more call of addition for 12, 13, 14, and result is, and I am calling here the function directly, which is addition. So I have to provide some values here, 12, 13, and 14. So you can see it will show the result. It is not necessary to put it in separate line. It is actually formatting by itself. So whenever I am running this code, you can see one more call of addition for 12, 13, 14, and result is 39. So you can see the sum of addition of these three numbers is 39. So it is you can see it is to somehow some complex function. uh, uh, Now there are two things which are uh, different, which are additional as compared to this simple function. One thing is this list of parameters, and the other thing is return. So there are different type of functions. It depends upon the requirements of the program. Some function have to receive some arguments, so that we have to write here how many arguments this function must have to receive. I have to write here a number of parameters. Then when I am calling this function, I have to provide some arguments, and it is return. So whenever this function is working, at the end it will return some value. So I am writing some more function to get the to do the concept more mature. So I am going to find minimum value, and this function will receive two parameters d and f, and I am saying I have to write here a colon. I am saying if d is less than f, then I can return I can return d, uh, but else if it is not the case, if d is not less than f, rather we can check elif f is less than d, then we can return f. Further else we can return 0. Now what is the logic with this function? If d is a minimum value, then this function will return d. If f is minimum, then this function will return f. Otherwise, if d and f both are equal, then this function will return 0. Okay, for example, I am going to call this function. um, I can do more different things with this function calling. For example, I can I can take values from I can take arguments from the user. For example, I am saying here input enter value for d, and because I need this value as an integer, so I can receive this value in some variable, for example y. Then I can take input in some other variable, for example z, enter value for f. Okay, I am taking input for value d and value f, and I am storing these values in y and z. So I am calling minimum function by providing these arguments. So I can call, rather I can do this minimum underscore val is equal to minimum. I'm calling this function, and I am putting here y and z. So it will return some value. Either it can return y, it can return z, or it can return 0. And I can do some more. I can write some more code here. For example, I am saying uh, first of all I'm just printing straight away. I'm saying the minimum value is, and I am printing here minimum underscore val. So whenever I am running this code, you can see what is going to happen. You are welcome, you are welcome. These are due to previous code, and these are calling of addition function. Now it is asking for value d, or first value. You can say I am putting here 23, then it is asking for another value. I am putting here 34, and it will return minimum value, so it is returning the minimum value is 23. If I am entering some different way, for example I'm entering D for 12, I'm entering F for 6. Now you can see F is minimum, so it is saying the minimum value is 6. Otherwise, if I am entering both the values as a same value, for example 23 23, so you can see it is returning zeros. Now we can interpret this zero means both the values are equal. So now you can see these are the functions. It is very simple function. This function is uh, receiving some arguments, so that I have to put some parameters here, and this function is returning some value. This function is more complex. You can see it is receiving some value, some values. It is receiving two values of integer type. Then I am comparing both of these values, and you can see there are different return statements. And let me tell you, from these three return statements, only a single return will execute at any point of time. Whenever in the context of function, whenever the first return statement executed in the function, rest of the code is, uh, you can say, the function is completed. You can understand by this. For example, if it is returning d, then this function has done everything, and it will return to the place where from we are calling. Whenever first return is executed, the function has been completed. So it is the concept of functions. Now you are welcome to ask some question if you have any doubt. Otherwise we will discuss some more things about functions. So we can do different type of maths by using these functions. For example, uh, okay, for example, if we want to solve some sort of equation, you know, a quadratic equation, which is x square plus y square plus 2xy. Okay, it is a very famous equation which is known as quadratic equation. If we want to solve this type of equation by using function, then how we can do this? To solve this equation, you can see we need two values, x and y. So I am defining a new function here by using def keyword, and it is a quadratic function is used to solve a quadratic equation, so that I am writing identifier or name of this function as a quadratic. And this function needs two values, x and y. Then you can see I have to solve this equation. So I am returning x, and you remember this operator x star star, it is used to find the square or power of some value. So I'm writing here x star star 2, which means it will find the square of x. Then what am I doing? I am doing y star star 2, then I am doing plus 2 into x into y. what can I do here? I can write here some parentheses this way so that this equation will be solved easily, and I can put some extra parentheses around all of the expression. And I believe there R is missing there, so I think it's right now. Return. Now I can call this function. So I can call this function straight away in print statement. For example, I am saying the quadratic equation for values 4 and 7, and I am calling quadratic, and I have to provide two values, and I already have mentioned here these two values will be 4 and 7. So whenever I am running this code, you can see due to previous one it is asking for two values, which we have to provide. Then you can see it is calling this function quadratic function or quadratic equation. It is taking these two arguments 4 and 7. If we are going to solve this equation externally, then you can see what the equation would be. You can see first value is 4, so 4 power 2 plus 7 power 2 plus 2 into 4 into 7, what it would be. It is just for our satisfaction, otherwise I believe the result will be accurate. So 4 square is 16, 16 plus 7 square is 49, and the result for last part 2 into 4 is 8, 8 into 7 is 56. So these are three values, and whenever we are adding these values, you can see 21, 2, 7 and 4, 11 and 1, 12. The result is 1 to 1 straight away. So we can now we can write function as per our requirement. Whatever the requirement of the program, we can write function according to that requirement. Now let me tell you, it is very rare in projects, in complex projects especially. uh, it is very rare we are going to complete any project without using any user defined function, because what these functions are offering us, these functions offers us a modular way to program. If there is some error, we can check specific module, we can check specific function, because we have been dividing our problem into smaller problems, and we can solve any complex problem in easiest way. So it is some discussion and practical demonstration about functions and about arguments, about return values, and you can see these are defining and calling function. We have completed this, parameters and return values, we have done this. Next is external libraries, and there is a modules and importing. Now what is modules and importing? We can define functions in another program, and we can call these functions in some second, third, or uh, different programs. So it is known as modules and importing. And we can use some external, we can call some external libraries. Now these libraries are just like we are just like we are using print function, there are different libraries available, and in those libraries there are different functions available. We can import that library, we can call different functions. We only have to pass some parameters and we can get results easily. Just like you can see, in user defined functions we have to define function ourselves. For example, this way we are defining function, but if we are calling some external library, we only have to we only have some knowledge about the library and the different functions of the library. Then we can call those functions straight away. But I think it is enough for today. We will discuss next session this working with external libraries and about this file handling topic. Uh, these topics are very important in real time programming, when we are going to develop some projects, when we are going to solve some real time problems. Then we have to write a lot of functions. We have to sometime we have to manage different files. So I think it is enough for today, but if you have any question you can ask me now. We were discussing about external libraries. So in every programming languages there are different libraries available, and these libraries have different functions. For example, you can see I am going to import a math library. So this library have different functions available. So you can see what can I if what, what different functions are there which I can use. For example, I can uh, I can retrieve some value from the user, and I need this value as a int. So I am saying to the user, kindly enter a value to find square root. So user will enter some value, and this I can save this value in some variable, and I am saying sr for square root. So what I am going to do, so in sr variable there is a value available, and what I am going to do, sr underscore result is equal. Now I can use this library which is math library, and I can call some function. You can see there are different functions available which are started with s, but I am interested to call square root. This function will find the square root of some given number, and I have to provide here sr, which I just received from the user. So it will find the square root of this number, and the result will be stored in this variable. Then I can print this result. So I am saying the square root of SR is, then I am printing here SR underscore result. Okay. Now you can see this is the built-in function. This is sqrt, square root function is from math library, and this library is external library. I have to import this library. If first of all I have to run this code, then I will tell you some more related things. For example, I have to enter value for d, which will check minimum or maximum value. So it is saying 34 is minimum. Then it has found some quadratic equation. Then it is asking for some value to find square root. I am entering 49. So you can see the square root of 49 is 7. So it is the built-in function. Now Now if I am not importing this library, then you can see what will happen. It is showing some sort of error, and if I am running this code, it will whenever it will approach to this code, it will say, uh, rather it is not executing this code, or it is saying there is no such function. Enter value for D 34 45, then kindly enter value to find square root. I am saying 64, but you can see what it is saying. It is saying math is not defined because I have not been importing this math external library. So whenever we are going to use some function from external library, then we must have to import that library first. So there are different other functions available in math library rather than this. You have seen math dot, we can find sine, and there are different function. For example, there is uh, round function is very famous one. If I am floor function is, there are actually there are different functions available: floor function, round function, sine, cos, tan functions. For example, if I want to find some sine of some value, so I am saying sine equal input, and I need this value in int. So I am changing this input into int, or you can say I am parsing this input into int. I am saying kindly enter some value to find sine. Okay, so user will enter some value. I am straight away calling some function, sine function. I am saying the sine of uh, this is, then I am calling the sine function straight away, math dot sine, and I have to provide value here, this one. I think yes, it's fine. Now you can see I am running this code, asking for D 12 23, and it's asking for square root. I am giving 81, then it is asking for value. For that value it will find sine. I am input 45, and the sine for 45 is 0.809, and so on. So let me tell you, there are different functions available. For that we have to explore math library in some detail. There is a pi function, there is a factorial function available in math, and there are a number of functions available. For example, if I am copying this code just to show you some factorial function, I am using variable fact. Kindly enter some value to find factorial. Okay, I am saying the factorial of fact is math dot factorial, and I have to provide some value here. So this value is fact. So if I am running this code asking for D, which belongs to previous code 23 45, and it's asking for some value to find square root 1 to 1. Rather, I can change some value so that the result will be in decimal points. The result is 11.489. It is asking for some value to find sine. I am saying 60, so the result is minus, and it is asking for some value to find factorial. I am providing 5, so the factorial of 5 is 120, and I hope you know uh, what is meant by factorial. Factorial is a mathematical function. If we are going to find factorial for 5, then the result will be 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, whatever the result of this equation, that will be belongs to factorial 5, and we are writing mathematically 5 factorial this way. 5 factorial equal this equal 120. So there are a lot of different functions available in math library. There are logarithmic functions, there are sine, cos, tan, there are some calculation just like factorial and so on. So but we can explore this library in greater detail.